What is going on, guys? This is the Vaulted Podcast, your number one source for cards, collectibles, and the community. I'm your host, not Shivam, and I am rocking the podcast today solo. Tonight, it's going to be a pretty quick podcast episode. Reason being is just because there's not a whole lot to talk about. Actually, there could be. I don't know how long this podcast episode is going to last, but I am recapping the National. So it was my first time at the National, but to just kind of go over it. So I basically, for those guys who do not know what the National is this massive convention. And for the last few years, it's been gaining a little bit more and more traction as far as trading cards go. That means Pokemon, it means Magic the Gathering, it means Yu-Gi-Oh, and so on and so forth, like Marvel. And so, honestly, I left my home at, super early Thursday morning. I landed in Philly, right where 100 Charizards was. We both took the Uber down from Philly to Atlantic City. It was pretty solid. What's going on, Lucario Forever? It was a pretty solid trip. But once we got there, that's when the National commenced. So before we get right into it, guys, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. The channel is officially monetized. That means all pieces of content is going to accrue some level of revenue. It's going to receive AdSense on it, which is really, really cool. And yeah, there's just more to come. I hope you guys are enjoying this podcast episode. If you're listening to us through Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure you give us a 5-star review. And if you guys want to see any particular guests, let us know. There's going to be more and more sports people on this channel, and we're going to get their hot takes on the Pokemon community in the future. So lots of interesting stuff took place. So yeah, we got to Andy's hotel, which is the Golden Nugget. Andy is 100 Charizards. We got to his hotel. We set our stuff down, and we checked in our bags there at that hotel. I didn't stay at that hotel. My hotel was completely in a different spot. It was like 15 minutes away, which I do regret getting a hotel that far away. Hindsight's only 2020, but looking back, I definitely should have gotten a hotel a lot closer to the convention center. But right off the bat, we got our Uber, went straight to the convention center, and we were met with so much traffic, it's not even funny. So I do have some criticisms that I will talk about, but it's no way talking down on the National Sports Collectors Convention. I think what they do is absolutely phenomenal. It's just like I actually have criticisms since it's my first time actually showing up. So myself and 100 Charizards, we get there, we're waiting for no one in particular. Just kidding. We're waiting on the legend Don Diego Trading. That's who we're waiting on. And so we get to the convention center like right around 9, and she shows up at 11. And so, she said like 15 minutes, but in Don Diego time, that's like an hour, 2 hours. And so finally we met up with her, and then, we went into the convention center. We kind of like split apart. And it wasn't on purpose or anything of the sort. It's just more so the fact that the convention center lacked infrastructure, in the sense of the fact that there was no available Wi-Fi. There was no available data. Like I could not message anyone. And that was the toughest thing to do. And, that also affected transactions. I think that was the biggest thing. You had to carry cash on you. And the thing is that for me, I'm not going to carry, even $200 in Atlantic City. I'm not trying to get mugged or anything. And, when you're carrying around cases, with tremendous value, I just don't know. Why is it like that at conventions? I think it's just because like there's just so many people in one spot that it messes up stuff. So I really do believe that there was a tremendous Wi-Fi issue, and they did sell their Wi-Fi, but it was very, very expensive, and even with it, it just did not work. I don't know. I hopefully that changes. I hope that in the future it's a lot better. Don Diego Trading's in the chat. Landa Lugia's in the chat. Trevor Gilson's in the chat. Lucario Forever is in the chat. Everyone is in the chat today. We are discussing the National Sports Collectors Convention. And honestly, it was just a good time. I do want to talk about Friday. I think Friday was Don Diego Trading's trade card night. So I want to touch on that too. But before we get to it, Thursday was pretty cool. It was just very, very overwhelming. So I think like my first 2 days was just basically my way of kind of like taking it all in and just going through and seeing what everyone has. And then just kind of going through the next day and just kind of deciding what I want to get. But you couldn't do that with this. It was just so overwhelming that you like, I'm sure myself and Andy and even Laura just kind of completely just missed out on some stuff, but we just don't know because there was just so much things going on. There was just so many people. One thing right off the bat that I noticed is that I didn't know how bad this was until I got there. So Laura put up a video. It was kind of like an ironic video in the sense. It was a funny video where it was like like what not to do at conventions. And on her video, she said, "Do not wear deodorant." I think a lot of people took your advice seriously, Laura. A lot of people had tremendous BO. It's like, bro, it's literally like the second day there. How do you have that much BO? Granted, it was really, really hot. I can understand some people having like sweating issues, gland issues. I get it, but like, come on, like it was bad. It was really bad. And it was just a lot of dudes there. There wasn't enough girls there. I know it was a problem for myself and Andy that we had. There just wasn't enough girls. So if you're a girl and you're watching this, make sure you tell your fellow women to join this hobby. There's plenty of dudes there. If you're a single woman and you want a man, just come to a sports car convention. Come to any convention. We're there. We're available on deck, on site. No, yeah, food was like, trying to get food was like the toughest thing too, because all the places that were within the vicinity were just overbooked. They were over capacity. You couldn't get to it. So like, dude, on Friday, I did not even eat. Like the only thing I had was a panini melt or whatever from Starbucks that morning. Like I had no food whatsoever. And it was just horrible. Like I know that at most Collecticons I've been able to eat consistently. It's just there was nothing available as far as food goes. Like there wasn't like any good decent options. I don't know. It was really, really tough. But I will say that as far as advice goes, I think everyone for one needs to have walkie-talkies. If you're going with the friend group, take some walkie-talkies with you. I swear to God, next convention I go to, next NSCC I go to in Chicago, I'm like buying like my squad Pokemon walkie-talkies. Vintage Pokemon walkie-talkies, and we're just going to use that on deck. We're going to have it strapped to our fanny packs or straps or whatever, and that's how we're going to communicate, because there was literally no way to communicate with people. Like, I would stand in one spot, and 100 Charizards is a great example, okay? I'd be standing next to 100 Charizards, and I turn around just to talk to someone for like a couple of seconds. That dude is gone. For a guy that's 6 foot plus, that dude disappears quick. I don't know why, but it just happens, okay? I get lost, and yeah, it's really easy to get lost in there. It's really easy to lose your stuff there too. So first day, I kid you not, this happened on the first day. I lost my case. I literally lost my case of trading cards. And when I mean by case, I'm talking about my PC case, not my consignment case, okay? And this is like towards the end of the day. I set my case down at the Whatnot booth, okay? And I get a text. I'm with GrabChew. I get a text from Laura saying that, hey, we're doing some interviews with Gary V. And then after that, she had to do another interview. So I was like, okay, like after we got done with that, I went with this conversation with GrabChew. I go upstairs, and I think I have all of my stuff. Granted, and just to remind you guys, just to give you guys a little bit of a visual, okay? So I have my backpack on. I have my card case, okay? PSA just hooked me up with this giant-ass bag. Thank you, PSA, by the way. Not sponsored. They hooked me up with this bag. They didn't give a whole lot of people. Actually, I think I'm like one of the very few people that they hooked up with this particular bag. And then because of where I was VIP at the event, and I bought tickets to the event, they gave us this giant bag right here. So I have like 4 different stuff to keep track of and keep manage of. And I set my case down for less than 20 minutes, okay? I come back down, like after like Laura's done with her video, which she crushed it, her interview or whatever, I look around and it's like, where did I put my case at? So then I start panicking. I go up and down the stairs for the venue. And mind you, this venue is massive. I'm like booking. I'm running. I go back and forth like 4 different times. Nowhere to be found. Finally, GrabChew calls me back. And like, I'm telling you guys, service is so bad that you barely can even communicate with your friends. So like, I kept calling and calling 100 Charizards and Grant. They finally found it. So I come back down there. Funny story enough is that Don Diego Trading is also officially an insurance policy that you can take, because literally she saved my butt. Most of you guys know that on my case I have a Don Diego Trading sticker on my actual case. Someone grabbed my case, recognized Don Diego's logo, and then gave it to Laura. And I'm like, bro, that was a lifesaver. I freaked out. I almost cried. I when I couldn't find it, I had my head down. I was walking around. So, guys, make sure you put a Don Diego trading sticker on your case if you ever go to a show. That's another piece of advice. In all actuality, put an air tag in there. Put an air tag or something to track your case. I think that's like the biggest thing. And I think, me bringing locks for my case too is also like the biggest thing. Make sure you bring locks for all your cases. It won't help, but it will kind of deter it a little bit. But yeah, I appreciate you, Laura. I appreciate you, Andy. I appreciate, everyone that found that case. And that was a huge lifesaver. And that was just Thursday. That was my first day there. Granted, I also had no sleep. So I know I have excuses, but that's what I was working with. Next day was Friday. Friday was a little bit more mellow, because like we kind of stayed up a little bit, but like we knew that we like knowing that the traffic that's available and knowing that we went through the entire vicinity of the venue and there wasn't really much Pokemon stuff to be found. It was either just too much or it just wasn't really there. And knowing that, like myself, Andy, we kind of just took a leisure approach the next day and the next few days after that to get to the actual hotel venue. I mean, not the hotel venue, the actual venue for the convention. Just to kind of backtrack, because I know I'm all over the place. I do apologize. A day before the venue, I called up one of these auction houses, Heritage, to basically set me up and give me permission to be able to work with the Mickey Mantle card in terms of producing content. They set it up. They gave me a green light to work with it. And, that was just awesome. Just to be able to work with that kind of card and that kind of caliber of a card. It's just awesome. So that was really cool. Currently it's at I think last time I checked, when I was working with it, they had told me that I already broke the record for the world's most expensive card. So I haven't checked the prices yet. There's like 25 plus more days left on auction for the card. So I'm curious to see what it will hit, but estimated market value is roughly $10 million. So like holding onto a $10 million card is just insane. Like holding onto the Pikachu Illustrator card was already insane. The PSA 9, I didn't get to work with the PSA 10. Unfortunately, I tried to. But Ryan from Liquid Marketplace, he just got super busy the next day. But working with that card, I don't know. It's just a blessing. Just to be able to receive opportunities in general. And I think that's just like the coolest thing. But just to get us back on track, if I'm not missing anything, Friday, I was just much more walking around, me doing a little bit more networking with a few people, producing content. Friday, I was able to produce a lot more content in terms of reels and stuff like that. Well, shoot stuff for reels, because Thursday I wasn't able to with the amount of bags I had on me. Then we kind of left the show a little bit early. Myself, Andy, and Laura, we all left the show early. We went back to our respective hotels, and that's another thing. It's kind of tough to like make plans with all your friends if you're not in the same hotel, and we were just so spread apart, which kind of sucked. But other than that, it was completely fine. But we had like a 4-hour break until Laura's trade night. So Laura's trade night was at this amazing spot called Ton Tavern. If you're ever in Atlantic City, go over there. They take care of you. They're great people. We went over there. I got there at 7. Andy got there right around the same time. I've never seen 100 Charizards with pants on, because he's always wearing shorts, and that was definitely a sight to be seen. So jeans Andy is okay in my book. We get there, we're setting up, and Laura was expecting like 10 people. Nah, this place was packed. When I say packed, I mean it. There was a legit line outside. There was a line. And I have videos of it. I will be putting out content about that, but there was actual lines about that, which was crazy. Well, it's not crazy because knowing Laura, I expected, the best. Laura only expected, 10 people. I was expecting a lot, and so, seeing like all my friends there, seeing all the people there to support Laura, I think that's absolutely awesome. It was like it was sort of like a joke, but not really a joke. But in all actuality, it was more lit than the National. No, but it's cool that the trading card aspect of the National has a growing presence there. I think, Laura being that face of the trading card community for the National, I think is absolutely important. I think it's absolutely awesome. Um, I'm curious to see. I'm not even curious. I'm excited to see what's going to happen these next, 2 years, next 3 years, with this side of the hobby growing, because like trading cards is such a new avenue for the National, and so I want to see more Pokemon there. I want to see more Magic the Gathering there. I want to see more Yu-Gi-Oh. I want to see like a 50-50. That would be really really cool. And just moving forward, I think there's such a bright future, not only for trading cards. I think there's such a bright future for content creators as a whole. And if you're just one of those people that consistently work at what you do and produce content at scale and just kind of just work at it on your own and not expect people to hand you out things, I think you're going to get to where you want to be. And Laura is such a huge example of that, and so is 100 Charizards, and so is Lootbox TV, and so is other content creators that were there. And it's just they are true testaments of what you can be at these shows. Let's see what else. Yeah, we were the trade night started at 8. The first 75 people that got in got like swag bags, which I think was really awesome. You got a graded guard, like this. You got a graded guard and a sample art slab. This is not from the event itself. Graded guard, actually, Min, shout out to Min. He actually gave me this. So for those guys who are in here, if you are watching this, I will be giving this away. And all you got to do is just leave a comment on the comment section. So after this podcast gets published, make sure you leave an actual comment and make sure you like this, so that way I can keep track and give you guys this right here. It'll be for free, and you just get this. It's purple. And shout out to Graded Guard, group of amazing guys. It's, and that whole crew right there are just absolutely fantastic people, because they were helping Laura out. Shout out to Len, shout out to Colleen. We got to meet Laura's mom, Pat. She's awesome. She was really cool to talk to. What else? Yeah, we got done around 10, and I think after that we went back to Laura's hotel. We went back to, I don't know how you pronounce it. I think it's pronounced Harrah's. I don't know how you pronounce it. It's a casino. We went there. Laura and Len went to go wash up, come back downstairs. Then we went to this Panini event, where Lil Jon once was performing while we were at trade night. So we didn't get to see him, but we did get to see DJ Ski. Shout out to DJ Ski. And we got to see him perform for a little bit at this place called the Pool After Dark, which I thought was really cool. There wasn't like a whole lot of people there, but it was just kind of cool to be around. Granted, at that point, all of us kind of we're just like worn out. We want to go to sleep. So then we knock out. Saturday was a different thing. I think Saturday we just kind of like did our own thing, and then Sunday it was just like a really really short day. I think Sunday was more like people just relaxing, and then either just left early, or they just stayed just to get whatever deals they could that day, and that was pretty much it. Everything kind of wrapped up. I'd say as like far as Pokemon people go, if for this particular show, I think you could have did everything that you wanted to in 2 days. So like Thursday and Friday, and then you're set. I think that's pretty safe to say for most Pokemon people that were there for solely there for Pokemon. But I felt like it was a pretty productive convention. I think being able to see my friends that I don't normally get to see on a regular basis, like getting able to hang out with Andy, being able to hang out with Laura. I think that's like the upside of it. Being able to hang out and talk to Travis and Cloud and Grant Grabchew, like all these amazing people. It's just like that's what makes the hobby the best thing ever for me. I could care, like, I did not buy a single a single card there. I did not buy a single card there. I brought a decent amount of money to spend there that I just wasn't able to spend. Not because like I couldn't find anything that I wanted. It was just more so either stuff was overpriced or it just wasn't available there. But yeah, no, I left there making much more new connections. I got to meet Mojo Autographs for the first time. That dude is super nice, such a cool dude. Got to meet Jeff Sports Investor again. I think the last time I got to talk to him was more so at Collectors Con, which I sure hope there's another Collectors Con in the future. I love the Tampa area. I think the issue with Pokemon at the show itself was that the sports folks that had it either dumped it or just didn't bring it just because it was a sports event. I don't know if they dumped it. I think they just overpriced it. There was PSA 8 first edition Shadowless Charizards that were selling for that they had listed for $16,000 when it's only worth $8,000 to $9,000. Or PSA 6s and they had it listed for $8,000 or something. I can't remember exactly, and it's not even worth that much. It's worth like $5,000, maybe $6,000 at most. Or boxes were worth like. I think a lot of the sports guys that did own the sports boxes, they don't keep up to date when it comes to listing the prices for a lot of their Pokemon stuff. So they probably had older pricing from what the prices were maybe like 5 months ago, maybe 6 months ago. And even if you told them comps and stuff, it's just like that you're not gonna get away with it. But there were a lot of like niche stuff there. There was a lot of cool like Marvel stuff there. There was some Dragon Ball Z stuff there. Dragon Ball stuff there. Not a lot, but there was a lot of Marvel stuff there, but I just don't know the comps to all this stuff, and you want to buy it, but it's like if you don't know what the actual market value for a lot of this stuff is because there's no Wi-Fi or data available, then it makes it super duper difficult to actually transact or buy anything in particular. So it's so tough. I'd say like if you are going to a national, do bring cash, do bring some level of cash. I think that's super important. Or, like, if you don't bring cash, like, try to get their card. And so that way you can, like, set something up to where you can send them money somehow in some way, shape, or form via PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, whichever way you prefer to do it, crypto, after the fact, after the show, and then just maybe meet them up the next day and then get your card. I think that could be doable. Bring walkie-talkies. I think that's a huge must. I think next time I am bringing walkie-talkies. Definitely putting air tags in my cases and all my bags. I think that will be a lot easier to deal with. What else happened? I think for the most part, most of us just went to bed kind of early. I know Laura, she stayed up all night one night at the casino with the big guys. Didn't want to even hang out with myself and Andy. I'm just kidding. No, it was just sort of like a last minute thing. And I mean, I totally understand it, but, what else? I'm trying to like really think. I know that this weekend I'll be at, Indianapolis for, Gen Con, which I think is going to be really, really fun. It'll be my first time. Kind of nervous because I've never been to like a tabletop games based convention, but I feel like I'm going to be more accustomed to this crowd versus the sports the sports convention itself, just because like you have like just straight up nerds. I think there's gonna be a lot of people there that are going to have more Magic the Gathering, just stuff like that. I think there's gonna be a lot of cool stuff there. There's gonna be something really cool that happens there, so just stay tuned for the news on the social medias, but just stay tuned. There was good stuff out, but I noticed most of the fair price items for higher end graded cards were gone by Friday. I found a first edition Charizard from base for $12,000 in the CGC 9 and all 9 subgrades. I will say, this is not me hating on CGC. This is not me hating on PSA. This is not me hating on Beckett, because I do have issues with all these grading companies. I'm not hating on any grading companies. It's just that I have criticisms. CGC kind of has been a little bit lackluster as of late. I will say that. I will say that Beckett's new case and new logo, I hate it. I hope they revert and stay. I think they should stay the same as far as their cases go and what their logo looks like. I think it looks luxurious. I think it looks fine. I think they need to put that money on the website and their population reports. I think that's like the biggest thing. What else? I'm trying to think. if you're going there for trade ups, I think if you're going there to strictly there just to do trade up challenges, I think that's awesome. Other people that I met that I forgot to mention was Vor and Bomeo from TikTok. They work with DAP Sports, so I got to chill for a little bit with Daps. Who else? Benjamin Kicks was there. I got to talk to him and his little brother pretty extensively, so that was pretty cool. There was a lot of people there that I didn't know that were there until way after the fact. I did not know that Dan Fleischman was there. I did not know that Paul Pierce was there. I didn't know that Grant Williams was there until after the fact. I didn't know, like, there was just a lot of people there. Like, I knew that Chipper Jones was going to be there, but I didn't know it. Did they end up announcing it was official? I think they just ended up giving out the cases that they had with the new cases away for free because they were just getting crapped on. Like, they literally put the new case and the new label as actual physical displays, like massive displays around their actual booth. And I think there was big issues with that. I think a lot of people just did not enjoy that at all. And they were serious about it, but I guess now they're reverting back. I think, what was said was definitely heard. There was a few like scary things there. Like I read a Facebook post where a vendor had $84,000 worth of product stolen. So some of these people are very, very bold. And that leads me to another piece of criticism, and that's security. Security could have been a lot better. I think security would have been I think security should have been a lot better. I think and this is not me just crapping on them. I think this is just something to take away with it. I think Collecticon security at least has security going through bags. I think that's the bare minimum. Security for the NSCC was they were just there just to check whether or not you had a pass or not. I think they should have gone through bags. I think that's the biggest thing. When you have that much money, when you have that much when you have that amount of people there, I think it's super important to kind of go through all the bags just to make sure all the attendees, all these high profile people, all these athletes, all this inventory is safe. I think that's important. And then I think it needs to be done even on the exit. I think there needs to be a metal detector going into it. I think there needs to be security going through bags, and so on and so forth. I think like having that extra level of deterrence available is super important, and I think that would prevent a lot of theft. What else? One thing I thought was really cool was the fact that there was like a lot more lounge areas on the floor. And one thing I thought that was really cool was that like if you bought a VIP ticket, there was a spot not in the actual floor, but there was a separate spot outside of the actual convention for VIPs only. I think if conventions could take that and extrapolate that, and like let's say at a Collecticon, you put a VIP spot like right in the dead center and like have it extra padded so that way people who have that, they can actually stop right there, hang out, relax a little bit, hang out on some couches, have a bartender there or something, have vintage video games. I don't know, like having a spot right there where people can just hang out, relax, chill, network. I think that would be really cool because I think a lot of people would 100% pay that premium for it. I mean, I certainly would. If I was an attendee at an event, I would 100% pay for that. What else? I wish there was more food options at the NSCC. I really do wish that was the case. There really wasn't any like decent food options there or enough food options. Yeah, I just think that there's a lot of criticisms, but overall, I think it was a really, really positive experience. It's really cool just to meet a lot of people who are at these shows who really do love Pokemon and sports cards for that matter. One thing I forgot to talk about was Friday night at Don Diego's trade night. There was, Laura was able to open up a bunch of packs. Oops, I keep hitting my mic. Bunch of like vintage packs. And the guys that were there, I forgot what their names were, but they had like legit graded vintage packs inside of a case. And the thing is that they use legit chairs from the outside to break these cases to then open up the packs with. If you guys haven't seen the video, it's on Andy's Instagram on his reels. Check it out. At 100 Charizards, it's super interesting. It was kind of like, this is a level of debauchery that was okay for me. It was okay. Didn't like the Chicky and Pete's. I mean, like, I'm vegetarian. It's just that, there just wasn't enough. Like, there wasn't enough. And I don't know. Again, I don't think there's enough. There needs to be more. After looking at Charlotte's Collecticon, I really do think that what Charlotte's Collecticon did was solid in the sense that they were able to actually have a multitude of different food options. I think that's what was great. But besides that, I think all these shows are great in their own respective rights, right? Like, I think all of this stuff can coexist. It's the same thing with grading companies. It's the same with content creators. All of us can coexist. Everyone can win in their own separate ways. I'm trying to think what else. Like, I'm sorry I'm not super prepared on this. This was just sort of like a spontaneous thing where I was able to kind of recap what I wanted to talk about. But yeah, I think that's kind of it. I really do think that's kind of it. I'm definitely wanting to go to the next NSCC after going to this one. I think I've learned a lot from this one experience-wise. I know what to do, what not to do, what to have on deck, and just do things that will create a much more positive experience for myself. Not saying I had a negative one. I definitely had an overall net positive experience at the show. Here was another thing. There was Zero Cool. Zero Cool was a cool spot there. I will be making content out of this. But I have a Dune pack and I have a Clerks 3-pack. There was a Strangers Thing pack, but I wasn't able to get that. So hopefully next time around I will be, or maybe on eBay I'll probably scoop it up. But yeah, that was pretty much it. Yeah, it was really hot at Charlotte. It was the same thing at NSCC. There was like certain spots where it was just really, really hot, and then there was certain spots where the AC just hit you in the right spot. But overall, like, I don't know. There was a lot of traffic at the show, leaving and coming into it. It was, I don't know. It's just, I hope that Chicago will be a lot better, and I'm just looking forward to it. Overall, again, positive experience. I do have criticisms. I always have criticisms about any show I go to. I don't think any show is above criticism, because if there wasn't any criticisms, how do you grow as a convention? How do you create a great experience for your attendees? But on that note, I hope you guys have a good rest of your evening. I hope that you guys were able to enjoy this podcast. Maybe got a little bit of insight. Hopefully, once you guys see some videos of mine, you get more of an idea. If you haven't, Don Diego Trading just dropped a video. It's a 3-minute video. It's quick. You get somewhat of a recap of what happened. I'm sure she'll be dropping more videos to come, and just take a look at that. I myself, just stay tuned. I'm trying to get everything done this week before flying out to Indianapolis. I will be going live after this probably not after this. I'll probably take a little bit of breather, eat, come back, do something, then do this right here as far as showing people's PSA cards again. I did it on Sunday as soon as I came back, but there was a lot of people that weren't able to see it. So we're going to do that again. I hope you guys did have a lovely weekend. I hope that you guys had a good time. There probably will be a podcast episode Thursday. We'll see. And it'll probably be just as spontaneous as this. I'll have another guest on. And yeah, we'll just go from there. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. I hope that you guys subscribe, like to the channel. And again, if you want to win this graded guard case, I forgot where I put it. Oh, here it is. If you want to win this graded guard case, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And again, if you're already subscribed to the channel, just make sure you comment after this gets published to the YouTube channel. That's all I want you guys to do. And yeah, I hope you guys stay awesome. And make sure you check out our sponsors, TCG Stadium, their online card shop. Make sure you check out the Pokemon Network, his Instagram account. Make sure you check and download the Collector app. It's free. And Double Infinity Gaming, I will be making content with them this weekend. So if you have any Magic the Gathering needs, make sure you contact them, hit them up, buy whatever, do whatever you want. Guys, I hope you guys are one step closer to your collecting goals. And if you're not, make sure you start today. Make sure you keep that focus there. Make sure you are not getting distracted by, everything else that is supposed to distract you. Make sure you're here for the hobby. Make sure you're adding to the hobby and not taking away from the hobby. Make sure you're being positive. Make sure you're not being negative. And that's pretty much it. I hope you guys have a good rest of your evening, like I said before. And on that note, this is the Vaulted Podcast, your number one source of cards, collectibles, and the community. See you guys in the next one, and we'll go from there. Peace.